I might have the largest enfant riche déprimé collection in America. And today, you're gonna see all of it. For years now, I have been making videos about the elitist, nihilist, couture, punk-inspired fashion brand e.r.d. and listen, I have really teased y'all. I have pasted out in drips and drabs, 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces at a time per video. I haven't told you what I've kept and what I haven't, and I've accumulated quite a bit that I've kind of kept to myself. But today, I think it's time to finally share it. I'm feeling good about where my e.r.d. collection is at, and like I said, I think it's pretty big. And I say I think because I literally do not know. As I'm recording this, sitting here right now, I have not filmed the rest of the video yet, and I have not kept a count of how many e.r.d. pieces I have, how much they're worth, so I am going to be finding out along with all of you. And I said that I might have the largest e.r.d. collection in America, and that's because, I mean, I don't really know. I don't know of anybody who has a bigger one. Like, if you think about all the people who are famous for having lots of e.r.d., you know, like a 4G, Justin Reed, some of these like new kids, whatever, these archive pages, they are collecting e.r.d. for financial purposes. They are buying and selling, so they never really have an opportunity to build up too much of an inventory, because if they built up too much of it, that would mean they're doing a pretty bad job of selling it and making the money that they need to, right? But what about somebody who isn't in it for the money? Like me, I'm in it for the love of the game, for the love of the freak fashion shit, you know what I mean? So maybe there are some private collectors out there, some silent behind the scenes types who pick up every piece from every season and just don't tell anybody. Maybe those people exist. If so, they've got me beat. But for now, at least in public, I think it's the biggest collection in America. But that being said, again, I don't know how many pieces there are. I don't know how much they're worth. So we're gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna show you every e.r.d. piece that I own in every single category. We're gonna go through, we're gonna count them up, and we're gonna give a rough value so I can tell you how big is my collection and how much is it worth. I'm honestly excited and scared. Like, if it's worth less than I think it is,
what have I been spending all my life on?
I don't really care. I'd still like it even if it was worth half as much. But, you know, what if it's worth way more? And I realized
how goddamn much money I've spent on this dumb passion of mine.
It's not dumb, I love it.
I'm arguing with myself today. I'm mad at myself.
But I love myself, you know?
All right, I don't want to keep you from the grails any longer. Let's dive in. Hey, and if you like e.r.d., you might want to join up with a bunch of other e.r.d. freaks in my Patreon, link in the description, okay? All right, we are gonna start with the biggest part of my collection. Gotta pan down. Okay, yeah. Yeah, just a little troll to get us started, no big deal. This is the smallest portion of my e.r.d. collection, and one I'm still pretty happy with. First up right here are the zip-up stomper boots. These are definitely my favorite piece of e.r.d. footwear, and I wear them all the time. I love the cut of them. I love the front zip. I love the color. I love the leather. I love the split, chunky platform sole. Everything about this boot is sick. One of the only e.r.d. pieces I've ever sold from my collection was actually a pair of boots. It was the yellow, like, star Cuban boots, and those were made, like, quite badly. These are made really well, and I love them. Then there are the, like, platform Chelsea boots. They've got the Iron Cross logo pressed in up here, a really nice green color, kind of like worn leather, elasticated pull tab, again, big, chunky sole. These are a nice all-rounder. I have a friend who said when I wear them, it makes me look like a Bratz doll. That's what they're called, right? So yeah, that's the vibe. And then finally, these are the adolescent sneakers, just nice suede kind of Vans style. I think they went and made these after the collaboration with Vans because e.r.d. is like too high-end for Vans, so they made these. So those are my shoes. Okay, for real, I know that last section was a little bit of a tease, but now really is for the biggest part of my collection, at least in sheer number of pieces, because this is my e.r.d. t-shirt collection. Oh my God, there's so many. All right, we're gonna go through these fast. I'll just call out small things as we go throughout. I've not organized these except for like category and color. So for instance, category, we'll start off with the one tank top that I have. This one is very old, logo up at the front, thrashed. I got this one from the Discord. So a dude in my Discord got it from a guy in the Discord who I got it from, so that's a good reason to join the Discord, join the Patreon. Moving right along, this is actually one of my favorites, this one right here. I love the kind of like collage type graphic, the multicolor, the cutout, obviously the kind of, I don't know, in your face shock value of some of the graphics, and then it's even got a back graphic on this one, which I also love. Next up is another very old one. This is the Well-Adjusted Families shirt, and it's got this kind of like weird pointillism kind of family. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some sort of artist or something, but the main thing I know about it is it's a super wide neck. They were doing a lot of that at the time, and it's a pretty rare shirt. Next one's a semi-grail as far as t-shirts go. This is the High Risk t-shirt. What more to say about this? If you don't know about it, learn about it. They're pretty well liked, this one. Next up, from the previous season, Teen Just Wanted Love. Again, love the newspaper elements here. More stuff on the back, very creepy, off-putting. Television t-shirt. This one has a really weird fabrication. Oh my God, it's so bright. It's a very bright white on this one, okay? Yeah, like, kind of like thicker fabric, a bit stretchier. Cool. This one is the ska graphic, not like the most exciting graphic, but some people really like it, and I like the treatment, the super, super thin cotton. Everyone just loves an early e.r.d. t-shirt, you know what I mean? Next one, a great, really well-liked graphic, the TV Gone t-shirt with this guy right here, but the best part at the bottom, Teen Kills Himself. Teen Kill Self. The folds are not doing well for me. This is a very big t-shirt, oversized, okay? But speaking of big t-shirts, this one right here, okay, is the dress t-shirt, because it just keeps going. If I were to wear this, I think it goes like down below my knees, but I love the graphic. I finally found someone off Harry's for me. It's soft focus, soft core, you know what I mean? This one sat on sale on Essence for like 2 years after it came out, but now I think they're like well-liked and expensive or something. All right, next one has a little interesting like multicolor stuff going on. This is the Reality is Optional t-shirt, and it's got like some yellow, orange kind of staining, painting throughout. At the back, you get like kind of an upside down mirrored version of this same graphic. One of my favorite t-shirts, my favorite graphics they've ever done, the Bonds of Matrimony shirt from last year. This is the Madonna gagged and tied up thing. And I love that they call out Sean Penn here. I think it's like a cool use of their power to call out somebody else who's powerful, while also being kind of off-putting and weirdly sexual in that way that people like from them. Very old piece right here. Kind of similar fit to the Well-Adjusted Families one. Not too much more to say about that. I covered it in a recent video. One of my favorite graphics, the Puppy Saved from Overdose t-shirt. Very like, I don't know, bondage, kind of like National Enquirer type thing. This is actually, I think, quite a similar fabric to the television shirt from earlier, but this one's just a bit more cooked. Another kind of like paint splattered one, like the Reality is Optional shirt. This is the Children Smoking shirt, and I love this variant because it's got this kind of like, I don't know, road rash black and blue thing going on with this faded graphic right here, but a very, very provocative graphic as well. Next one's a light grail, I would say. Baron Nosebleed, okay? Very kind of like Bauhaus with the red overlapping stripes here. You've got the logo down at the bottom, and black sleeves with a black collar, so you could kind of call it like a ringer shirt in a way, and just an iconic graphic there. Next up, maybe the widest neck of them all. This is the yellow Super Heroine t-shirt. I believe the fabrication is cashmere. Really good graphic, really interesting color and fabrication, super wide neck. One of the most well-known graphics from e.r.d, Christiane F, in this really nice kind of like puke green colorway. Really interesting piece from the brand, and one of my favorites. This one has kind of like baby doll-ish sleeves, but not as much as the next one. This is the Whisper t-shirt in the raglan cut, and this is actually my favorite cut that e.r.d does. So they do kind of raglan sleeves with like a baby doll cut, almost like a mock neck in a more soft, stretchy fabrication. I love this cut so much. I just wish they made more good graphics like this one in this style of shirt. All right, one of the most valuable e.r.d t-shirts I own, I would say, is this one. This is the Ça Suffit pocket t-shirt. You can see a little bit of embroidery there, but no, it's actually chain stitching, which is way more intense. And at the back, this is entirely chain stitched in there in red. Painstaking work, and that's, I think, why it's so valuable, is they made very few of them because they were very, very difficult to make, and I love that. The next one here is a newer piece, but one of my favorites. This is the Pleasures Denied shirt. The color they call Nightshade. It's kind of like a dark blue purple. I don't know, relatively boring at the front, I guess you could say, with the star, but at the back, oh my God, it's really, really sick. Logo in the middle, a bunch of, I don't know, pornographic scenes, videos, submission, all that stuff. I just love motifs like this from the brand. We're getting into the black piece. I even ran out. These are my favorite hangers. Now we're on to these weird velvet hangers, but very, very old logo t-shirt, thrashed. What more is there to say? But this is like a very early interpretation of it. This next one's kind of low key, but I really like it. This is just the Rose logo t-shirt. I really like that it has the black flag font enfant at the bottom. Oh God, I can't even get it to unfold. Anyway, it's a very soft fabric, but cool print, very large print, dope. Next up, another very good graphic. This is the Italian Romance t-shirt from, I think, a couple years back. I really like the, I don't know, domestic scene here at the front. The only thing I don't like, it's tagged as small, but it fits so big. This is not my favorite type of cut from the brand. Another simple classic right here. This one is the e.r.d. Records t-shirt, kind of like a Lockin' Out Records, like an Op Ivy type of thing, which I know Henry is a fan of. Again, small, kind of boring logo at the front, but at the back, a nice classic kind of punk scene here, very like reminiscent of a record label or, I don't know, like an LP art type of thing. Only a couple more to go. This one is the Nursery to Misery Running with Scissors t-shirt. Kind of a cropped cut, which I do really like. And at the back, a very classic kind of cartoonish graphic here. And last but not least, one of my favorite t-shirt graphics from the brand. This is the, I don't know, what would you call it? Like 1-900 number t-shirt. And this would be a 1-900 number, if you're too young to remember, is what you would call and get charged for like phone sex. But do you dare to call all these different types of fetish type of thing? Logo at the bottom. I love this one. And that is all of my e.r.d. t-shirts. So if you weren't keeping count, this was 26 t-shirts. I actually forgot one. So I guess this is number 27. And it is just like a simple logo t-shirt, but it is a raglan sleeve t-shirt. Again, my favorite cut. I think this was maybe one of the first ones of this cut they ever made, because it's the first time I remember ever seeing it. I got this one at a Patron of the New in Miami, the homies. So that's all my t-shirts. Just kidding. This is only the short sleeve t-shirts. Let's look at the long sleeves. Yo, future Killian here, just popping in to tell you I am watching along with all of you, and I'm keeping a tally. I'm keeping track of how many pieces there are, and we'll be circling back later on in the video to give you final tallies of everything and to add it all up and tell you how much everything is worth. So stick around. All right, here are my long sleeves. It's a much more manageable number to get through, okay? And the first one is actually one of my low-key favorites. This one, it's not like crazy out there at a first glance, but if you spend some time with it and like read the text, look at the graphics, read the back text, it's so good. I love this. I will not attend. Famous movie star blows famous movie star. So sick. Now the next one was actually the first e.r.d. piece I ever bought, and it's a rep. Yeah, it turns out it's a rep. I really like the graphic, nosebleed, etc. Actually, it's like a pretty good rep. Like the fabric feels good, the graphic solid, but yeah, it's a rep, so I'm not gonna be counting this towards the totals, don't worry. All right, next one, not a rep, kind of a grail. This is the Narcotics Anonymous Eagle long sleeve, and this one, fun fact, I actually bought this from Pusha T, King Push. Yeah, fun fact. This one has a little graphic at the arm here, 2017 early stuff, and kind of like shotgun distressing throughout as well. Next up, one of my favorite e.r.d. pieces, and maybe my favorite that I own, maybe, Buffalo 66. And I'm pretty sure they made less of these in the pink graphic, so that makes it just so much cooler. It is large for me, I'm gonna say that much. It's very, very big, but I don't care. Christina Ricci, Buffalo 66, Vincent Gallo, so good. Also, one of the best back graphics as well. I love this piece. All right, next one should be a grail, but it really isn't. But this is the Mesh Suck long sleeve. I love this thing, and it's got art by, I believe, Toshio Saiki, who's like the godfather of Japanese erotic cartooning, and it's very off-putting, especially when you pair the graphic with the text. This one should be worth twice as much as it is. All right, next up is kind of a basic piece, but one of my favorites. This is the ribbed long sleeve, very wide neck, kind of like tonal embroidered logo at the chest, super long. This one's kind of like a dirty cream, tapers towards the bottom. This is like such a good base layering piece, and a couple years ago, you could have gotten these for like $150, so anyone who didn't do so then really missed out, because these are one of my low-key favorite pieces from e.r.d. And guess what? I don't just have one of them, I have two, because I have the black variant as well, maybe even better. All right, a few left. This one is the bunny long sleeve, okay? A nice, very faded black for the long sleeve. Yellow print gives me kind of like Gummo vibes. Any Gummo fans, Harmony Korine fans? Also, we got some of the Japanese, I'm guessing Japanese print, calling back to the Buffalo 66 graphic. A little logo action at the back with some prayer hands, and some extremely heavy distressing at the sleeve where it's basically completely torn open. All right, next, a very, very provocative one. Okay, we've got dressing up time, e.r.d. at the front, so kind of a logo piece, which usually are less valuable, less cool on the whole, but my God, this graphic, okay? With the help of a panda and an outgrown uniform, attractive young woman. And then on the back, whoo boy. Okay, all right, it's good that they blew these out, because this is some of the most provocative stuff I think they've ever put on a piece. And then tying it all together, the sleeve print that just says school days makes this whole thing very dark fetish scene, you know? All right, and finally, last but not least, our last long sleeve here, the strung out long sleeve. Strung out in e.r.d. or strung out in heaven. Probably heaven more likely, but cool, like X-ray graphics, some tits, because why not? Roses, that's a motif for the brand. I love these old pieces with the super thick ribbing at the neck. Yeah, that's a good piece right there. So, not counting the rep, which was the second one right here, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 long sleeves. All right, let's keep it moving. This right here is my e.r.d. pants collection, my bottoms collection, because this could be pants, shorts, sweatpants, all that stuff. Let's check them out. All right, so I don't have a lot of like good hangers to put pants on like straight out, so we'll look at them one by one here and then hang them up so you can see them better. And first off, a boring old pair of blue jeans? Are you kidding me? Nah, these are way more interesting, okay? Kind of baggy, a nice fit here, a nice, very kind of clean wash, but fully lined in plaid flannel. So warm, so comfy. Really interesting piece for e.r.d. as well. All right, and I think you might find the wash on this one, the wear, a little bit more interesting, and maybe the cut too. So this is a really nice pair of like canvas carpenter jeans. If you look at the texture, it's not like a normal denim right there. Nice worn carpenter patches here. The only thing I will say about these, like they look great, right? They're super sick, but this era, this was 2022, this era of e.r.d. jeans had a big problem with like hardware just popping off, as you can see right there. So I haven't heard about that in a while though, so I think they figured it out. The next ones I will say are incredibly interesting. What color is that? Plum? Eggplant? Yeah, this is a wild pair of like twill chino pants. I love the D-rings. I got this at the front and back, and then just print everywhere. We saw this on one of the t-shirts, right? And a bunch of motifs that they used elsewhere this season as well. Tag at the back, if you know, you know what I mean? I just love them pulling in other graphics into this one piece. It's super sick. All right, let's go back in time quite a ways here. This is a very old pair of like gray layered thrash jeans. So over the top, sewn in here, is a super thrashed logo t-shirt. You can see it like folds around, does the whole logo, super thrashed, and there's just like a pair of jeans underneath with like a kind of, I don't know, slim cut, raw hems, which they were doing a lot at the time. Really weirdo silhouette here. All right, next one is incredibly interesting. Something like a little bit sporty, kind of athletic, you know? So this is a crazy interesting pair of like jogger track pants. It's like a puckered nylon ripstop type of fabric, branded zippers, D-ring again, with the carpenter cutout patches here. And this one even has the logo kind of appliqued onto it, kind of like rubberized. Listen, I was wearing these on the New Haven green very recently, just a few days ago, late at night. If you know, you know, that is not where you want to be at that hour. And I was like, if anybody realizes what I'm wearing right now, I'm getting robbed, like guaranteed, no question. But nobody had any idea, because e.r.d. still isn't like that big. So we're live, thank God. All right, next up, back to Denim Town. So these right here are a pair that I keep coming back to over and over again because they're kind of like unassuming, but also hard as you know, because this, all right, similar to the pair that had the t-shirt right here, it's like a gray denim pair of jeans, early pair of jeans for the brand, but then these distressed patches right here are patched with striped silk in black and green. e.r.d, they love mixing their kind of like high and low, and this one's no exception right here. By the way, there's some really nice embroidery at the back pocket, similar to that Ska t-shirt that we looked at. And man, I miss when they did the big stamped leather waist patches here. These were so much better than whatever they do now. All right, let's keep it going with the stripes, right? But get a little bit dressier. And oh my God, you see that patch? Let's check it out. All right, this is like the softest pair of pinstriped wool pants. It feels so good. But of course, the most important part is the patch at the thigh right here. Actually very, very similar to the t-shirt jeans once again. It apparently is a motif that they were playing with even more than I realized until this very moment right here. All right, and if you still hadn't had enough pinstripes, let's check these out. This is a crazy pair. Obviously, you like pinstriped wool dress pants, pleated, super wide cut, like almost like Bugs Moran, Al Capone types of Boardwalk Empire type of fit, okay? Super old, as you can see from the huge tag. And definitely the coolest part of these is that they have built-in suspenders. You can remove them, just wear them like normal pinstripe dress pants, but the suspenders like make them. It's so good. All right, that's enough Chicago gangster type shit, okay? Let's go back to some denim, or maybe you'd call this canvas bondage. We love some bondage. e.r.d definitely loves some bondage. Yo, I wear these all of the time. These have to be my most worn e.r.d bottoms, and these are really nice canvas. The wash is great, very like natural black, I would say. But obviously the craziest part is these like bondage, like equestrian straps going across the like thigh and knee area. And that's because coming down each from the back on a D-ring, you have these snap buttons that come to a kind of triangle here and wrap around the leg. So you can take these off, you can kind of wear them at your side, you can take them off entirely, reconfigure them with the straps. I really like that optionality and functionality. I wear these things so much. But these might be too heavy for the time of year we're getting into, so what about some shorts? So we looked at these in a video pretty recently, so I won't go too far here, but really interesting, like puckered seersucker stripe thing on these shorts, and then embroidery all down this thigh right here, and very like nice and wide, good summery type of cut. All right, let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Light shorts, who wants that? What if you want some heavy leather, okay? Early leather. Everyone loves e.r.d leather. Don't lie to me. Yeah, so this is a crazy early pair of leather pants from e.r.d. Kind of like a slim leg, I would say. And you can see early from the tag here once again. And this is from the era from when e.r.d was probably best known for their crazy, you know, studded, painted battle vests, battle jackets in leather. So this is kind of the bottoms that they would pair with something like that. And you can see, very different from the leather they use nowadays. This was almost like a pebbled leather, very like USA, thick motorcycle, like shot type leather, you know what I mean? So I think it's like a nice archival piece, you know? All right, and then you may have noticed I broke the color movement, the color story here, because we're moving to a color. Why would that be? Because this is a new piece to the collection, a piece I've never shown on the channel before, new just for this video. We have got one more pair of leather pants, and these are insane. So I'm using a different hanger for this one because I don't want to damage the leather in any way here. So this is kind of like, I don't know, like a burnt red orange pair of leather pants from e.r.d. These are from 2022. I just got them. I love them. Very, very different from the last pair. First of all, carpenter cut. If there's one thing that e.r.d is known for in their denim, it is the carpenter jeans, and maybe like the painter's jeans. But anyway, this is kind of them referencing the carpenter jeans in a way. But this one is like a sheep leather. You can see the texture is totally different here. The dye is awesome. The treatment is really nice, and the stitching is just real clean too. But since these are brand new to the channel, I would love to take a little break from the collection video and throw on a fit with these. I gotta try these. I haven't tried them on yet. Let's do it. All right, the quick fit for the e.r.d. leather pants. What do we got here? Alexander Di Genova t-shirt, Eddie Slima, SLP Saint Laurent Paris, parka, leather studded, whatever. The e.r.d. green Chelsea boots that we have already looked at. A nice little leather like cargo bag that I picked up in Mexico recently. And, necklace from this very small brand that I found called Reworkshop. They make stuff out of like vintage watches and stuff. Like they'll make jewelry. They even make clothing out of vintage watches. But, yeah, that's the quick fit here. Just throwing it together real quick so that this video doesn't take me 18 years to make. It's already taken me a really, really long time. All right, that's all the bottoms, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pairs of bottoms. Again, a lot more than I realized. All right, we are now taking a little break from the clothing and instead looking at the accessories. So right here are all of my e.r.d. accessories, whether that is hats, jewelry, belts, all of the above. Here you go. All right, these are all of my e.r.d. accessories, and yes, I did place them on a Yeezy leather parka because I can do that. I own these things and I can do what I want with them, okay? Fuck off. All right, most importantly, the most important thing in this entire bunch, matches. Never know when you need to burn shit down. No, that's not the most important thing. We'll start with what is in this leather pouch. And I have a bunch of random e.r.d. leather pouches, okay? It's nice. This is by far the biggest though, so this is the one I included. And inside here is a goddamn dog collar. Yes, this is an Enfant Riche Déprimé dog collar made exactly in the style of their famous belts. So e.r.d. down at the metal tip there, you've got the iron cross right there, and the rose buckle. I love how intricate this is for a dog collar. Again, leather green, the color green is so sick and studded all the way around. How dope is that? And a big long leash. This is a functional leash, okay? Studded down at the bottom. You don't want any retractable leashes. That's bad for the dog. It can snap, it can hurt people, okay? You want something like this, all right? I did make a video about this, but once again, the important thing here, I don't own a dog. I just own this. Moving along, let's talk sunnies. We'll start with the lesser of the two, I would say. This is the collab that they did with Thierry Lasry, and I love the art on this, the Nosebleed Kids. You know, I kind of like Nosebleed Kids. I don't know, like you could say that I like them a little bit too much. All right, let's get this out here. Nice case, textured, nice dust bag inside. And this one is like the black and red, black and pink variant right here. They're very, very chunky, like acetate sunglasses. I don't know, kind of like 80s mod post-punk type style. That's kind of what they remind me of. And I really, really like them. And they were my favorite sunglasses until I got the ones that are sitting right above them here. Because these, holy, I know I don't want to spend too much time on any given thing, but you have to see the packaging on these things. So these are the Sidewalk Doctor sunglasses that they did in collaboration with Jacques-Marie Mage. And all right, just bear with me here. Okay, 123 of 150, little cardstock here. It's kind of imprinted. There's a booklet that comes in there. All of this is branded. They also did a sweater with this that season. This entire assembly just comes up, and underneath you've got branded cloth. That's a huge cloth, by the way. The sunglasses themselves in this clamshell case. You also get a branded sterling silver safety pin, earring, whatever you want to call it, says e.r.d. in it, just because. Inside the case, finally you get the sunglasses themselves. Beautiful green lenses, titanium, very, I don't know, like modernist design, sleek, kind of like a car from the 50s or 60s is the vibe you get. Made in Japan with like the utmost intricacy. They're so delicate in a beautiful way. Look at the roses that are engraved into the ends of the arms. It's so good. All right, let's talk sterling. We're moving over here. First up is a ring. This is so good. I like wear it daily. And if you can't tell, this is a belt. This is the exact representation of the dog collar that we just saw right there, from the rose buckle to the iron cross. How crazy is that? I think they might be proud of their belts. Just saying. Moving on from that, we've got 3 bracelets actually. The first one is the sterling rose bracelet. Again, incredibly intricate work here. The way that they've layered the petals of the rose. They've got thorns and the leaves and like a curved chain over here. I love this thing. And not to be outshone, okay, we have the serpent necklace, or bracelet rather. I love the mechanism here. You've got the head and the tail, and those kind of clip in together. And again, the fangs on that, really intricate work, oxidization, crazy. But maybe most impressive to me is this one right here. Okay, this one, what do they call this? This is the sterling buckle bracelet. Wow, descriptive. So remember when I said they like belts? They still like them, but this one goes so much harder. The mechanism here is crazy. So this kind of like folds up, okay? And the end of this, by the way, look at like the hammering inside there. This goes through the buckle here. See that? Okay. Closes, and then the top of this just shuts right on top of it. And that is how you close that. And it's got like, I don't know, it's very much like silver spoon vibes. This one's crazy. And then to finish out the sterling, there's a couple necklaces. A more simple one is this very, very long chain right here with the iron cross motif at the end. This nice little pendant right here with the logo inside. Just classic. And probably the first sterling silver necklace they made that really popped off for them is the safety pin sterling necklace. And people have looked at that and they're like, why would anybody pay so much for that, for safety pins? It's because it's sterling silver and it's e.r.d. Like, yeah, there's nothing like that special about it. They are like upgraded in design a little bit to make it make sense as something strung together for a necklace, but it really is sterling safety pins. And that's all there is to it. And that's kind of what people like about it. I wear this thing all the time. And then finally, we have got hats. Let's start with this older one here. This is, I believe, a wool hat, actually. Love this. And then embroidered at the front when I was a kid, I remember practicing the violin in front of a roaring fire. We didn't have a fireplace. That's a famous Richard Prince cartoon there. And then you've got these lighter embellishments down at the brim, which is very popular now, looking at you, Alice, and Balenciaga, and everybody else. But this is the only one I've ever seen with those embellishments right there. So I love that. And by the way, it says e.r.d. in the buckles themselves. So sick. And that's it. It kind of feels like I'm missing something. Is there a ham? Right, okay. I forgot, that's where I keep that. The New York Young Republican Club hat. What more is there to say about this that hasn't already been said a million times over? I don't know, it was an online release, very rare, very expensive now, and very, very, divisive in its messaging and confusing in its intent. Is it ironic? No? Maybe? Sure. Oh, and I forgot to do the count. That was 11 accessories. All right, back to clothing. Let's do button-down shirts, more dressy type stuff. And this is one of my favorite categories. I find this one super fun. And first up, we've got one that's in plastic. Why? Because they sent it to me covered in plastic, so I kept it in the plastic because it's white and I want to keep it clean, okay? So this one, it's got like a very sketchy style with stars around the collar, and then dogs with like a studded spike collar there, and a bunch of just like scribbly different motifs. There's a bunch of different stuff that e.r.d. goes back to throughout the years. I love this piece. I don't wear it as much as I should. Note to self, wear this thing. The next one is super clean. This is like a very luxurious piece. This is like a checkered, like woven knit shirt, kind of like a short jacket, but like very thin. You can see the light coming through there, right? And I love a nice camp collar, embroidered logo at the chest pocket. Just a really nice, like tailored piece here. And this one is made of wool and silk, so it's just like a very fine luxury fabrication. So this is them kind of like flexing their luxury bona fides, you know what I mean? Next up, boop. Little short sleeve action. This is one you don't see every day, right? I feel like there's not that many of these out there, but I love this one. The entire front is printed. That's all screen printing going on right there. Again, camp collar, but this time short sleeves. This is a cotton, so it's kind of like a stiffer shirt right here. Creepy guy. e.r.d. loves their creepy guys. Kind of, I don't know, Mayan type motifs. I'm sure somebody knows what the center is a reference to, but very weird, cool, off-putting piece here. All right, and quite similar, but from 2 years later, man, I love this one. Ooh, this is so good. Yo, Yo, so weird. Again, screen printed, giant screen print on a camp collar with a very similar piece of art, I would say. Kind of like evokes some similar things, I would say. But the difference is, first of all, look at those sleeves, the kind of, I don't know, cuffing going on there, but also the fabrication. So this one's 100% lyocell, which means it has kind of like a suede type of feel, as you can see in the texture here, and I love it. All right, next up, cartoon silk. This is an earlier piece from the brand. You can see cartoon motifs all over, little logos in the blocks, which they were doing at the time. I think this was like 2017 or 18. Easy, breezy, beautiful. It's a cover girl, you know what I mean? Next up, another older silk piece, but very different. This one has like the vibe of your grandma's couch. You know what I mean? Black silk camp collar with, it's like a bowling shirt. So with these inserts here that are like a creamy floral type of deal. More like situational, you can't pull this off all the time, but I do find it like very enticing in a way. Staying with the floral theme and staying with silk, oof. This is maybe my favorite e.r.d. silk shirt that I have. It's completely see-through, totally sheer. You can see everything through it, but it's like a black-ish. You can see when they double layer it, it's more of a black, but with this beautiful like white, orange, floral stuff. It's so shimmery. It's so flowy. If you wear this as an overshirt over something, it works really, really well. Oh, I love it. Next up is a very weird one, very irregular in e.r.d.'s catalog. This is the baby blue mechanic shirt. Look at the buttons on that, giant buttons, super thrashed, almost like stained, blood stained even. Maybe the back is totally wrecked. I mean, maybe oil stains they're going for. But yeah, I love the stitching around the collar as well. It feels more like costuming than a typical piece of clothing from e.r.d., which I find cool. Next up is a blazer. This is the only thing in my entire collection that I have listed for sale right now, with a little, you know, hanger right here as well. But this one, it is a 4-button mud wash blazer. It's a cotton linen fabrication, really nice. Tons of interesting wear on the jacket there. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's just the sleeves are too short for me, but I do really like this piece. And last but not least is another new pickup, okay? This one is not just a blazer, it's a 2-piece suit. So I sourced both of these pieces separately. One was up on Mr. Porter, and then I found the pants on the second market, but I'm so glad I did. So, double-breasted brown plaid blazer. This is from 2023. Made of virgin wool, cotton, nylon, and elastane. And this is one that's made in Italy in their factory there. And the shoulders are insanely strong. Like super padded, strong shoulders. And you know, since this is a new piece, I think we should probably try it on, right? Let's take a little break. Try on this new suit. All right, here we go. I'm psyched on this. I love the way this looks. This is so good. Do you see how strong these shoulders are? Do you see this? Okay, so we've got the 2-piece e.r.d. suit. This is the King and Tuckfield linen shirt that I wore to my own wedding. Now getting a second use here. Vintage Allen Edmonds snakeskin shoes that I got from my grandfather. And finally, old Louis Vuitton little messenger bag here. I'm feeling good, man. I really like this. I'm digging this. All right. Oh, a little Chrome Hearts chain as well. Okay. All right. Thank you, e.r.d. You make a good suit. All right, for this next one, I have bundled up a bunch of different smaller categories. We are gonna do sweaters, sweatshirts, and hoodies. This actually ended up being a bit more than I realized. But anyway, all right, first piece right here is not e.r.d. Yeah, that's right. This one is Yeezy Season 5, but this one, it was kind of like a silent collaboration with e.r.d., with Henry Levy, the main designer for e.r.d. And this one, it's filled with references to e.r.d. stuff. You know, like Children Without a Conscience, the letter block, psychopathic scribbles, broken teddy bears, and the back, it just goes even harder. Anti-Neo post, that's a big one. So I definitely count this as part of my e.r.d. collection. I'm not gonna count it for as much when I add up like values of stuff, but for sure part of the collection. Anyway, next up, all right, this one is a long sleeve, a sweatshirt. What do you call it? I call it a sweatshirt because this thing is heavy, okay? So this is the Zurich ribbed long sleeve sweatshirt, and let me show you this fabric. Oh yeah, you see those ribs? See the stretch to it? Oh, it feels so good. This one to me almost feels like the, I don't know, a sweatshirt version of the Raglan t-shirts. Same things I like about those, I like about this. And look at all like the band logos, safety pins and stuff. Classic. The next one is just crazy. This one they call a thermal. It's, I don't know what to call it. It's like a silky, thin knit type of thing with flames and this guy. It's disturbing, like opera singer. Is the opera house on fire? Is that the vibe? I think that might be the vibe. Anyway, it's very kind of like long, skinny, long sleeves, ribbed fabric. This one was like made in Italy. I feel like this is one of the earliest pieces they made with their Italian factory, and that alone makes it pretty cool. The next one is a gray piece. I feel like you don't see that much gray e.r.d. This one, what's it called? Like the oceanic crew neck? But anyway, crew neck sweatshirt. They also made kind of like a black collared version of this in a way, but I like this one because you can see all the designs a lot better. There's some super, super heavy embroidery with, I think, Korean, if I'm not mistaken. And the sort of hand-drawn stuff from Henry here is insanity. Provocative as always. And the back is just so good. I'll just, without comment, I'll show you a few things here, okay? And yeah, good times. Next up is another kind of like atypical color for e.r.d, a baby blue. This one's a hoodie. This is the Vegetate hoodie, one of my favorite designs in the brand's history, I would say. So, Raglan sleeve, as they do with a lot of their hoodies, and the design right here, a woman feeding this like broken child, and then at the bottom, Vegetate in the half-life. So obviously pills have a half-life, and I think that's what's being referenced here, but that's just disturbing in a lot of ways. The next one I showed in a recent video, so I won't belabor the point too much, but it's probably my craziest hoodie, by far it is. This is the zip-up thermal-lined anti-process hoodie in red. This one kind of going hard on the assemblage technique with lots of patching, a lot, you know, classic e.r.d motifs. But the best part of this one is that it is fully lined in a thermal fabric, and you even get like distressing kind of going through to the thermal underneath. So crazy layered, crazy heavy, crazy expensive. Next is one that I see people giving more and more love to as time goes on and the value's going up, which I love to see because it is one of my favorite hoodies by them. This is the Girl Gun hoodie. There's a bunch of interesting stuff about this one. First, the wash, super, super light wash, kind of similar to some of the logo hoodies they do now. The design, incredibly, incredibly disturbing. Let's get that out here. Yeah, once again, provocative. I've probably said that word enough for this video, but one thing I think is really cool is it looks like they did the wash with the kangaroo pocket on and then like cut it off or something, because the dye there and the cutting and fringe is super sick. Next up, another recent one, a recent feature in the video. This is the most recent Le Rosé crew neck sweatshirt. This one, the Swiss boarding school that Henry Levy, the founder of the brand, went to. Raglan sleeves, kind of very wide, a little bit cropped, and a super, super worn, kind of fleecy, broken terry cloth on the inside, which is a bit irregular for them and pretty cool to see. Next up is a more understated hoodie from e.r.d, the Psychic hoodie. So on this one, you get a super faded graphic. That print is just completely washed into the fabric. And this one gives me like super heavy, I don't know, Eddie Slama, Saint Laurent type vibes. Like, it's not in your face. It's not trying to be offensive necessarily. It's just trying to be kind of eye-grabbing with this design. And I feel like this one is way underrated. Who's ready for some knits? I love a good knit. I'm always looking for more e.r.d knits if anyone has them at a good price. But this one, the logo sweater, you can see it's like pretty much sheer see-through. This is one of the most luxurious fabrications I think anyone has ever done for e.r.d. This is a blend of kid mohair and spun silk in this super wide neck, again, sheer, long, kind of like star embellished piece. Actually goes really well with the Psychic hoodie that we just saw, but with that fabrication, it goes crazy hard. Next up is one of my older pieces from e.r.d, and this one, they were ahead of the curve, okay? I saw Eddie Slama doing this like 40 years later at Celine. So this one, it is like a cut-off hoodie. You can see short sleeve cut-off raglan sleeves. Once again, Henry knows what he likes, but then you've got a longer sleeve coming out underneath it. Shotgun distressing, raw hem. A lot of the early hoodies were raw hem, but then that's kind of boring, right? No, it's not. Because going along the back of the hood, you've got enfant, riche, déprimé, okay? patched on there in the classic, I don't know, you know, Gothic font. Actually, the inside of this is very, very similar to the Le Rosé hoodie that they just put out. Interesting. All right, time for my heaviest e.r.d. knit, and maybe my favorite. I actually think it is my favorite. This is the Goth Couple knit sweatshirt in black. Yo, look at that. How sick is that? Okay, insanely heavy, super heavy brushed cotton, high like mock turtleneck style. And that design is just unbeatable, right? Holding the cross, there's like a single stripe at the arm, the woman in the couple, these stripes going down there, the outfit, the look, so good. It kind of like reminds me of me and my wife. Oh, cute, right? Yeah, okay, this piece is sick. The next one has to be like the weirdest sweater they have ever released, if you can even call it a sweater. It is like a fully open knit, spider knit, like fisherman's net. I don't know what to call it. To me, this has more in common with like, I don't know, Rick Owens or maybe certain like undercover Japanese archive stuff than it does with what you usually think of as e.r.d. But I really like the change in the styles of the knits, like kind of tighter up here and then super loosens over here. You kind of have to look at it layer by layer to appreciate it, but it does kind of have that, I don't know, like street junkie punk vibe in a way as well, right? And finally, last but most certainly not least, my one and only e.r.d. Loro Piana piece, and this is the Boy with Chain knit sweater in merino wool. Classic piece, classic design, very, I don't know, thought-provoking in a way. It's just kind of evocative, emotional in a way, and I love the knit, so soft, like so sheer in a way. The point of these collar points, the mother of pearl buttons, every element of this is perfect. All right, so what do we have here? One, but kind of not one, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 sweatshirts, sweaters, and hoodies. And now last, but most certainly not least, is maybe the smallest part of my collection, outerwear. Well, isn't this beautiful? I didn't even plan it, but full circle. We started with a category of 3 pieces and we're ending with 3 pieces for the outerwear here. So as you can see, first one, another older piece from the brand. This is like a peach pink denim trucker jacket, but like super soft denim, like, I don't know, brushed cotton, something like that. Silk lined, so silky soft. It's got like kind of a cropped cut with like ultra, you know, adjustable things at the back. But then for sure, the star of the show is the back patching. And this is just one of those like, I don't know, phrases that sticks with you. Cannot feel love or guilt. Good placement. Just Henry's always been really good at graphic design. The patches, super sick, good jacket. The next piece here is almost certainly the most expensive, most valuable e.r.d. piece I have, so that's why it stays in the dust bag here from the Webster. Thanks, Webster. Unzipping with one hand is really weird. Okay, there we go. Yeah, yeah, that's leather, and it's blue, okay? This is the Spanish Elegy leather racing jacket, kind of like an old school moto jacket, I would say. Kind of like antiqued zipper. I love the zip up. I love the paneling. I love the kind of, I don't know, patina that they've given it. You can see there's some like screen printing at the arm, and that is a bull. And then the back is just gnarly. It's just gnarly. You gotta love printing the naked lady on the back of the leather jacket and the bull standing over her. Very, very odd, but in a way that's enjoyable, piques your curiosity, you know? And then pulling it all together, you've got at each side, so 2 of them, little kind of classic rose buckles, embellished buckles here, exactly the same as what they do on their famous belts. And we don't stop going hard because we finish out with maybe my favorite e.r.d. piece I own. It's up there. This is the Christ Assemblage bomber jacket. And it's kind of like a classic sportier style. The zipper very similar to the track pants that we saw earlier. You know, ribbed bomber collar and hem. I love the shape of the pockets as well. The snap pockets branded as well. MA1 pocket at the bicep there. But the best part, right, is the Christ Assemblage element. This is kind of, I'm guessing like found pieces, right, that they've gathered and thrown on this piece. And each one I've seen has had slightly different pins as well. I love the Bad Religion stuff. They were probably one of the first punk bands I ever got into and kind of were a gateway into hardcore punk for me. And then this kind of like enamel stuff, like vintage antique type stuff, and stuff that kind of has the vibe of like when you put a penny through the crank machine at the museum, and other elements that I think you've seen mirrored throughout a lot of their other work, all of course put on with safety pins, a famous motif of the brand. And then if you didn't notice, all of it on this really interesting textured nylon. Once a punk, always a punk, and that's why I love this bomber. All right, I promise you, we would be back and we would add up all the numbers. I would tell you really, how big is my e.r.d. collection? And maybe more importantly, to some of you, how much is it all worth? So to recap, we had 3 pairs of shoes, 27 t-shirts, 9 long sleeves, 12 pairs of pants, shorts, bottoms, 11 accessories of various kinds, 10 or 11 pieces of like tailored pieces depending on how you count, 14 sweaters, sweatshirts, and hoodies, and finally 3 pieces of outerwear. So after all of that, I own, depending on how you count, either 89 or 90 pieces of e.r.d. clothing creations of some kind. Holy hell, that is a lot of enfant riche déprimé, my lord. And finally, perhaps the thing you have been most waiting for, let's talk about money, finances, the gears of capital, okay? For better or worse, one of the driving factors of the hype train that e.r.d. has become is the value associated with these pieces. So when people see a big e.r.d. collection, a lot of the time they want to know, how much is it worth? And that's actually a way harder question to answer than a lot of you would probably like, because where are you setting your prices? Some of the archivists, the resellers that we mentioned earlier in this video, they would charge very different prices than a random guy on Grail, like 4G and Dave1267 charge very different amounts, okay? But I do want to give you a number. I don't want to tease you, I don't want to edge you, okay? So I'm just gonna say, we're not gonna give each thing a 4G price, even if I want to. We're gonna give it the Dave 6789 price, okay? Let's assume I wanted to liquidate my e.r.d. collection, okay? I'm gonna give myself 1 month to sell everything. What do I think roughly each piece would sell for if I were pricing them kind of to move, you know what I mean, at the lower end of the market value? Now, I'll be 100% honest with you, okay? Some things I'm probably very close on in value, some things I'm undershooting, and maybe a couple things I'm overshooting. I'm not perfect. I don't keep perfect tabs on every corner of the e.r.d. market, okay? And just to get you freaks off my back, just so you know, I am not actually selling my e.r.d., especially not for these prices. Every time I talk about selling and e.r.d. in the same sentence, my DMs light up like a thought in Dubai, you know what I mean? This is just a thought exercise of if I ever needed to have a fire sale on my e.r.d., what would the whole collection be worth? That's it. All the e.r.d. I'm selling is on my Grailed right now. If I choose to sell more e.r.d. in the future, it will be on my Grailed then. Link in the description. So with all of that said, I'm sure you're gonna go into the comments and argue with some of my prices that I give. Please do. If I'm off, let me know. But let's take this category by category. For those 3 pieces of footwear, those 3 pairs of shoes, I'm collectively giving those a value of $2,000. For the 27 t-shirts, the largest part of my collection, I am giving those a collective value of $13,500. For the 9 long sleeves altogether, I'm gonna be pricing those at $5,200. For the 12 pairs of pants, various types of pants that I own from e.r.d., I'm giving those a value of $8,400. For the 11 accessories, the hats, sunglasses, jewelry, all of that stuff, $7,300. For the 10 or 11 pieces of tailoring, depending on how you count, I am giving those together a value of $8,200. For the sweaters, sweatshirts, and hoodies, all 14 of them, those have a value of $11,300. And finally, for the 3 pieces of outerwear, the area that has the most valuable pieces in my collection, according to me, those have a value of $5,800. So to run it all back, my e.r.d. collection is about 90 pieces strong with a total value of $61,700. I'm clothes rich, y'all. I'm clothes rich, okay? I'm not oil rich. I'm not paper rich. I'm clothes rich.
I'm e.r.d. rich.
And now one final thing I want to say here, because I know there are going to be some nitpickers. I did call out one piece, which of course I didn't count here, in the collection that is definitely a replica, a fake, a counterfeit, right? And with e.r.d., that problem is insane. And anybody with a large amount of e.r.d. who claims it is all 100% real, especially if you're the type who is going back into the older seasons, older years of the brand and picking pieces, I think whoever says that is lying. Of course, the pieces that I picked up at retail from e.r.d., from the official boutiques that stock them, I know that those pieces are real. And there are many other pieces, most of the pieces I own, that I am like 99% confident in. But then there are pieces that I'm more like 85, 90, 95% confident in. I wouldn't put them in the video if I wasn't confident, but with 90 e.r.d. pieces, I bet a couple of them are reps. And that's something that we all just have to kind of accept as part of the e.r.d. resale scene, and just do your best to educate yourself, protect yourself, but also know it is just kind of almost an inevitability, honestly. So with all of that said, I hope you have enjoyed this video. This video has been many years in the making. Thank you to all of you who have followed the e.r.d. journey with me, and trust me when I say it is not over. It just may be shifting ever so slightly going into the future. If you like this video, get subscribed, like, comment, do all these engagement-y things that help me in the YouTube algorithm. Join the Patreon, please, you will love the Patreon and the Discord. I'll see you next time.